In Noah's day, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth.
Former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mike Mullen, said over the weekend that the United States has never been this close as it is now, to nuclear war. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I do.
As trade tensions mount, China is conducting massive military drills in the South China Sea while U.S. carriers are sailing by. About 40 Chinese warships practicing in the live fire exercises, including its own refurbished Soviet-era carrier. China has laid claim to nearly 90% of that busy Asian waterway. Joining me now to talk about it all, Gordon Chang, Daily Beast columnist, author of Nuclear Showdown, North Korea Takes on the World. Gordon, great to see you.
Thanks, Greg.
Is that a belligerent act, what they're doing? I mean, they're basically claiming sovereignty over most of a vital trade route.
Yeah, certainly vital. People say $5 trillion of commerce on and over the South China Sea every year. People might quibble a couple $100 billion, but we're talking about a lot of goods that transverse the South China Sea. What China has done in these drills is essentially try to show the flag. What they've done is they've lined up their ships like they did in the 19th century, 2 by 2 with the carrier in the middle. And then the purpose there is to intimidate Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia into submission. The United States needs to be there because countries are going to give in to China unless they see the American flag on and over the South China Sea.
So what do we need to do? Just maintain a presence?
Well, we need to do more than just maintain the...
A massive crack in the ground that's estimated to be up to 50 feet deep has opened up in Kenya seemingly overnight. The crack stretches along Kenya's Great Rift Valley, and many scientists believe it could end up splitting the continent apart.
$1 billion over the next 10 years to make it the year of the vaccines. What does that mean exactly?
Well, over this decade, we believe unbelievable progress can be made, both inventing new vaccines and making sure they get out to all the children who need them. we could cut the number of children who die every year from about 9 million to half of that if we have success on it. And the benefits there in terms of reducing sickness, reducing the population growth, it really allows the society a chance to take care of itself once you've made that intervention.
Nobody was supposed to figure out all of this. Remember what that paper says on the elitists, their paper, when it says our goal will be accomplished one drop at a time so as to never bring suspicion upon ourselves. This will also prevent them from seeing the changes as they occur. We will always stand above the relative field of their experience, for we know the secrets of the absolute. We will work together always and will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks. We will keep their lifespan short and their minds weak while pretending to do the opposite.
In Lot's day, even in Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them, in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, and set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
The nun, Sister Eileen, the sexual pedophile who started abusing me when I was 15, was clearly 36 and had taken the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. She stole from my body, my mind, and my soul. The woman was a thief who did not keep her vows.
It's you?
No, that's her. Sister Eileen Shaw, in my apartment.
Why is your principal and nun in your apartment?
On my bed. That was my bed.
This is a medal that has the date of her vows. She would take it off of herself at night and put it on me, and then we would have sex, not a relationship, sex. And then in the morning it would go back on her. It was the seal of confessional or the seal of silence. It worked. I was silent for how many years?
We went every Sunday to church. I went to Catholic school. You know, nuns were my teachers from kindergarten on. So now I was accepted into Paramus Catholic, one of the girls' high schools. Sister Eileen, she would pick me up for the middle of the school day, take me to a motel. We'd stay in the hotel for hours, and then she'd bring me back to school. So I was there for dismissal. I mean, really, honestly, and her hand around my waist the way it is, let's be serious. This is not a hello, we're friend picture. Why didn't they stop her? Nobody questions a nun. I mean, a nun. Nobody challenged her. She owned me.
Abuse occurs in the dark. Abuse occurs when there is secrecy. The Catholic Church for years has been shrouded with secrecy. Abuse fosters in that sort of setting. What's fascinating about it is what happens in Camden, New Jersey is what happens in Santa Fe, New Mexico, what happens in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's similar, if not close to identical, in every state in this country and across the world, really.
You asked me if I knew anyone else, and I said, yes, we all do. Well, why are they not coming out? Well, because the boys thought they were the only ones for 100 years. The girls think they're the only ones. They don't have any other survivors to see.
I was born in St. Louis, Missouri. My dad was a good Christian man, very into his church, very involved with his church always. Put all 5 kids through Catholic grade school. We all went to Catholic high schools. 7th grade, I met this nun, Sister Judith Fisher. And I remember I was in one of the front seats, I think 2nd row over, front seat. And she looked right down at me and smiled at me, and I thought, oh, you know, because I felt a little neglected at home, and I was teacher's pet a lot, which I hated, but still it felt good to be special. So she made some joke to me. I forget what it was, but like, we're going to be friends, or we're going to, you know, we're going to do well. And she was this redhead. She was funny. It was a different kind of energy. So we were told this would be our homeroom teacher the next year. And sure enough, it was Sister Judith Fisher. That's when my world changed. I was 13 years old. She was 37, 24 years my senior. You hurt a child that deep, it's a spiritual rape. And you are, like, branded for life. So from now on, it colors everything. This is a necklace that she gave me. It's got my name in cursive. And on the other side, it says 9/1971. That's when we met. I guess the sexual part started when I was 13 and ended when I was 19. When she had me spend the night at the convent down in that basement without somebody else, we got in our pajamas. I remember she pulled the shade that was on the door. And the next time I spent the night, she asked if I'd like to come over and sleep with her. And I think the next time I spent the night there, it was up in her bedroom. And that's when she asked if she could touch me. And it just became sexual all the time after that.
All she had to do to me was to be nice, because there was nobody that was nice to me. She cared like she wanted to be with me. I was 15. I mean, everything was in my favor. Here I'm hanging out with this really cool 36-year-old full habit nun. Everything was so manipulative. Oh, that's my brother Peter, and that's my sister Kate. And that's down at the Shore House. Sister Eileen's Shore House. And I thought it was the kindest thing that she could possibly have done, to include my siblings. I think that's grooming. It was a pacifier for me. It worked very well. She became my mother. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. Now, looking back, she became my mother, but mothers don't sleep with their children.
Sister Judith had been getting real close with my mom, who was a substitute teacher and would come and help out in the principal's office. The principal was Sister Ruth. So my mom, she got close to Sister Ruth, and we became like a foursome. They'd come with my mom and watch swim practice from the car, and then we'd go for ice cream, or we'd go to the ground round, or we'd go to Flaming Pit, or the Leather Bottle, or we were always just like waiting by the phone with the nun's call. And for the next couple of years, my mom, Sister Ruth, Sister Judith, and I did everything together. My mom didn't know anything that was going on. If we were sleeping in a room with 2 double beds, I'd sleep with my mom, Judy would sleep with Ruth, but Judy and I would arrange to sleep where the aisle was, and we'd hold hands across the cavity while they were sleeping. She always, always described it as God's love.
As we can see, the world in Noah's day was full of wickedness, with the thoughts of men continually evil. The earth was corrupt and filled with violence. In Lot's day, sexual morality, homosexuality, had taken control of the people of Sodom. And we are told that these things will be combined and all happening at once during the last days before his return. So does this day we live in fit with this description? I say yes. Not only is this world today full of violence and sexual immorality, these evils have now been turned into entertainment. This world is now entertained by the very things that God destroyed the old world and Sodom for in Noah's and Lot's day.
Sunrise. And it was at that point that I fell in love with Arizona. I said, you know what, this has to be God's country. You know, because I'd never seen anything as beautiful as that sunrise. Then I met the devil in God's country. You know, and it's not so much who, it's what, you know, what happens and the things that the devil does. It's not so much a person, even though he acts through people. You know, you can't call one person the devil.
Joe Arpaio?
You know, you can't call any one person the devil. You can't do that because no one person has enough power to be the devil. You know, and you know, it's through all these hardships that I realized that, you know what, this is God's country because I met the devil here. Because if I hadn't met the devil here, I wouldn't realize I was strong enough to overcome the obstacles that the devil would place in my path. And it's by overcoming these obstacles that I realized that this is God's country, because he helped me get over these obstacles. He helped me get over these hurdles.
Okay, so but when you're done here, when you're out of here,
I'm not looking back.
You're not coming back?
No, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back for a show. I'm not coming back for a visit. I'm not even driving through the states. If I'm in a plane and they gotta fly over it, I'm gonna go around.
Machine around us, this so-called music industry, is such a demonic thing. It sacrifices people's lives and their essences.
And I just think that the whole idea of celebrity and fame has become really convoluted and, you know, kind of bastardized. If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there, like sign your name in blood.
How do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. You know, I made a bargain with it, you know, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with? with the chief commander. On this earth?
And on this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
We will use our knowledge of science and technology in subtle ways so they will never see what is happening. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators, and sedatives in food and water, also in the air. They will be blanketed by poisons everywhere they turn. The soft metals will cause them to lose their minds. We will promise to find a cure from our many fronts, yet we will feed them more poison. The poison will be absorbed through their skin and mouths. They will destroy their minds and reproductive systems. From all this, the children will be born dead, and we will conceal this information. The poisons will be hidden in everything that surrounds them, in what they drink, eat, breathe, and wear. We must be ingenious in dispensing the poisons, for they can see far. We will teach them that the poisons are good, with fun images and musical tones. Those they look up to will help. We will enlist them to push our poisons. We will see our products being used in film and will grow accustomed to them and will never know their true effect. When they give birth, we will inject poisons into the blood of their children and convince them it's for their help. We will start early on. When their minds are young, we will target their children with what children love most, sweet things. When their teeth decay, we will fill them with metals that will kill their mind and steal their future. When their ability to learn has been affected, we will create medicine that will make them sicker and cause other diseases, for which we will create yet more medicine. We will render them docile and weak before us by our power. They will grow depressed, slow, and obese. When they come to us for help, we will give them more poison. We will focus their attention toward money and material goods, so they may never connect with their inner self. We will distract them with fornication, external pleasures, and games, so they may never be one with their oneness of it all.
That sounds like Rumsfeld with the swine flu.
Their minds will belong to us, and they will do as we say. If they refuse, we shall find ways to implement mind-altering technology into their lives. We will use fear as our weapon. We will establish their governments and establish opposites within. We will own both sides. We will always hide our objective, but carry out our plan. They will perform the labor for us, and we shall prosper from their toil. Our families will never mix with theirs. Our blood must be pure always, for it is the way. We will make them kill each other when it suits us. We will keep them separated from the oneness by dogma and religion.
Okay, Jeanette, this board is going crazy. Explain where you're reading from.
Okay, this came, I'm sorry, it is very disturbing. It came from the Elite Network, and this goes into the Illuminati, and what their mission objective is for the people around the world. And that's the topic that we're on with this banking and the money and what they're doing to all of us. This is the secret covenant that we have obtained. Of course, they were too cowardice to sign it. But it explains what the Illuminati does, and the Illuminati has made it very clear that if, and this is a quote, if the Americans knew what we were doing, they would know that they are anything but free.
Hey, if you're tired of being lied to and you want the truth, then this is the channel for you. So please hit the subscribe button now and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. Thank you.